Okay, so now we're going to be doing some more examples on finding roots and zeros. So we're first going to figure out the positive and the negative. So we'll look at sign changes. So here we go, positive to a negative, so it's one sign change. Negative to a positive, that's 2. Positive to a positive stays the same, so we just have 2. So we have 2 or 0 possible positive. And remember, we get the 0 because it can be less than it by an even number. 2 minus 2 is 0, so that's how we get the 0. Now for the negative. So f of negative x, odd exponents are going to flip from their original signs. So this positive x to the third would become negative. Our negative 3x squared would stay negative. Our 9x would change to positive, and our 13 would stay positive. Looking at sign changes here, we just have 1. So that means we have 1 negative. Okay. So now from here we can go ahead and solve these. We're going to set up synthetic division. So we will have 1, negative 3, 9, and 13. And then we have to decide what numbers to try. So we're going to look at 13. Factors of 13 are 1 and 13. And then the smart idea here would be to try just negative values, because we definitely have one negative solution. We might have 0 positive, so it doesn't make sense to try the positive. So we will try a negative 1. So we drop down the 1. 1 times 1 is negative 1, plus negative 3 is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4, plus 9 is positive 13. 13 times negative 1 is negative 13, plus 13 is 0. So this is one of our solutions. So we got one of our solutions to be negative 1. So now we'll write down our depressed polynomial. So x squared minus 4x plus 13. We look to see if we can factor it, and we see that we can't, so we'll put it in the quadratic formula. So x equals negative b, so positive 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 4 squared is 16, minus 4ac, so 4 times 1 times 13 is 52, all over 2a, so 2. 16 minus 52, that would be negative 36, so it's really the square root of negative 36 there. So we have 4 plus or minus, the square root of negative 36 would be negative 6i over 2. 4, 2, and 6, we can divide each by 2. So that would be 2 plus or minus 3i. So we'll add that to our other solutions. So 2 plus or minus 3i. So there are our solutions. We should have a total of 3 because we have a highest exponent of 3, and we have 1, 2, 3. We have 1 negative and 2 imaginary. We'll do another example as well. So for this one, we once again have it to the third power. So we are going to figure out how many positives and how many negatives we can have. So taking a look here, we have 1 sign change, 2 sign change, 3 sign change, which means we can have 3 or 1 positive. So now we'll look at the negative. So looking at the negative, we want to look at v of negative x. So it'll flip-flop our two odd exponents. So the x to the third will switch to a negative sign. X squared will stay negative. X to the fourth, or 4x, will switch negative. And negative 12 stays. Take a look, there are no sign changes there, so that means we have 0 negatives. So now we're going to solve this. We'll use synthetic division to help us. And here we'll set it up. So we'll have 1, negative 1, 4, negative 12. Now here, because we have 0 negatives and 3 or 1 positive, we're only going to try positive ones. And we're going to try the positive ones of our factor of 12. So factors of 12 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So we're going to try those. And we can start at any one of them we'd like to. I would suggest that you just start at 1 though and work your way up. So we'll start here at 1. Drop 1 down. 1 times 1 is 1, plus negative 1 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0, plus 4 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4, plus negative 12 is negative 8. So that one did not work. So 1 is not one of our solutions. So now we'll try 2. Drop down the 1. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 4 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12, plus negative 12 is 0. Look, this one does work. So here one of our solutions is 2. So now we'll write out our depressed polynomial of x squared plus x plus 6. Take a look at it. We see it does not factor immediately. So we'll do quadratic formula. So x equals negative b, so negative 1, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 1, minus 4ac, so 4, times 1 times 6 would be 24, all over 2a, so 2. Well, 1 minus 24 we know is really negative 23, so this would be negative 1 plus or minus I square root of 23 over 2, and that we cannot simplify at all, so that would be our other solution. Negative 1 plus or minus I squared root of 23 all over 2. So we should have a total of 3 solutions here because this was an x to the third, and we have a total of 3 solutions. So that is roots and zeros.